What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Community Kitchen, where we're cooking up the latest and greatest gaming news headlines. And who better to join me today than Aiden? Why don't you say what's up?
Hi everybody, welcome to Community Kitchen where the future is PlayStation unless you're Kevin who likes Xbox.
Hey, we got a lot to talk about today. But before we get into any of that, we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys who are liking these videos, subscribing to Game Sandwich, and if you're new here, join our community Discord.
And this is where
Links.
Kevin gets silent.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be very upset for this whole video because we're talking about the thing I despise most as an Xbox purist, of course. Kidding. In case you're typing your mean comment right now, I play all games and consoles. But today,
No, he doesn't.
no. Well, actually, before I do that, massive grain of salt for anything we've talked about today, just because this is very, very far out. It's a topic that I honestly don't know who knows what, but this is all coming from the YouTube channel Moore's Law is Dead, and for those of you who don't know who that channel is, they are pretty spot on when it comes to the claims of the PS5 Pro. They talked about a bunch of third-party stuff from PlayStation, so they have a little bit of reputation behind them, but personally, when it comes to stuff like this, and specs, and all this stuff for a console that is years away at this point, and a lot can change between now and then, obviously just kind of grain of salt, like I said. But we're talking about the PlayStation 6. Aiden, it is so early in talks for the PlayStation 6. Before we get into what Moore's Law is Dead is talking about, what are your expectations as far as price and just when do you think we're getting this console?
I mean, judging by normal console lifespans, it's typically 7 to 8 years, so I don't expect the PS6 until like 2028.
Oof.
I mean, just, to be fair on it, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like we got the PS5, what, in 2020? Like before that, it was the PS3 in like 2012-ish, like 2017. So like, or well, not the PS3. I mean the PS4. Why did I just completely skip the PS4? Oh, jeez. But yeah, I mean, so like each one kind of comes in like 7 to 8. So that's like Switch to Switch 2 is 8 years. So yeah, I don't expect it until 2028. That like maybe 2027 is when they announce it. But there you go. And I don't expect them, honestly, to stick with the whole, oh, do a cheaper version and a bigger version, like the slim to the normal one or whatever, like discless
Yeah.
and have the disc. I don't expect them to do that. I expect them to just do one console. More or less, I'm expecting it to just go fully digital at this point because like a lot of stuff is just working towards digital. And so I'm expecting it more or less to go fully digital and then have an optional attachable disk drive. That way, people who want the disk drive can buy it, kind of like the PS5 Pro and everything. So I think that's more or less how they're gonna run it. And I mean, as far as graphical capabilities, obviously, it's just gonna be enhanced. I mean, it's gonna be like whatever the graphics card is at that point, RTX, TSX, 29,000. I don't know.
All the
Whatever
cores.
whatever model they're on.
It's got all the cores and all the RDNA or whatever they're talking about. But don't worry, for the tech stuff, I'm gonna just put the giant graphic here about everything because
Yeah,
personally,
tech.
to me, and I'm gonna lump Aiden in with this. All these words about cores and gigahertz and all that stuff, it might mean something to somebody, but it certainly does not mean a thing to me. So let's talk about price because that's the biggest thing. We've talked about this before a little bit where it's like we seen the price of the PS5 Pro. That was expensive. Prices are going up in gaming. We can almost certainly safely say the PS6 is going to be expensive. But, there's always a but. According to Moore's Law is Dead, they were talking about how the PlayStation 4, that was a console where they chose to not go all out on specs, so it could have mass market appeal. And this left some people in the generation kind of feeling burned because how expensive it was at launch. Apparently, they're looking to do the same thing, where it's like they're not planning to go all out on the PlayStation 6 with specs and all that to give it that mass market appeal. Now, do you think this is the right move? Do you think this is a thing where it's like we're moving on into the future where 8K and whatever K they want to do is going to be a thing? Xbox is making the largest technical leap forward with a PC home gaming console hybrid, allegedly. Is this the right move for PlayStation? Because personally, I do think it's a good move for them.
I mean, you know what, I'm just gonna like go the opposite of you, really. I mean, PS4 I liked. I enjoyed the PS5 a little bit more. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just from a technical standpoint, I enjoy it a little bit more. I like building PCs. I think it's pretty fun. I like getting like new tech for it and everything. I think that honestly, PS6, they shouldn't worry about the whole, oh, let's just make it what like more tech friendly or whatever. I don't think they really should worry about that. I think they should just put like whatever is like the best at that time in it, and then just, sell the console at a loss like they normally do and make up the price with subscriptions and everything. I mean, that's really what they should do. I expect the next console to be at that price range of the PS5 Pro, really. I expect it to be like a $700, $800 console, probably. That's just where I think we're at in games. I don't expect the next console generation to be anything less than like probably $700 to start. And I don't like it. Just to be on this, just to cover myself here for the people in the comments, if you say like, "Oh man, don't do that to gaming, don't wish for price increases," I'm not wishing for it. I just expect it because I know how greedy the companies are. So they're gonna do $700 minimum for the next console series, probably.
And it's not like we're sitting here just hoping for it, like you said. It's just like using common sense, where it's like, all right, the benchmark for what a PlayStation current console could do is the PS5 Pro, as far as like how good things can get. Whenever a new PS6 comes out, you would assume that console, just bar for bar, is better than the prior generation. That is what we're boiling it down to. Like, that's where it all falls, where it's like, we just assume it's just going to be that, but better. Much like the Switch 2. It's the Switch, but better. My reasoning for them to go the route of, like, not going all out and kind of giving it mass market appeal is that exact reason, where it's like, the PS5 Pro is very expensive. Gaming prices are going up. You're going to want to get that margin down to at least a more manageable number, but also give the value of like, all right, the tech can pull its weight. Also too, just in general, gaming fidelity and like what we can notice in like an actual game. I mean, we talked about the PS5 Pro. You own one, where it's like, what are we gonna notice beyond that? Like, are we gonna look at the leaves in every tree and be like, oh, that's great? Odds are we aren't. So it's like, why put the hardware in and just make the console more expensive for the sake of making it, that?
But just worry about it for games like, for instance, like GTA 6. It's going to be hyper realistic, and it's going to be like very, very demanding when it comes to processing power and graphical power. And so that's why I say I think they should just go all out with it. That way, whatever game any developer wants to make, no matter how demanding it is on your hardware, it'll be able to handle it.
That is true. That is the one thing heading into the next generation where it's like, all right, your benchmark for a game you should run no problem is GTA 6, and what a game to have as that benchmark, mainly because, like you said, it's going to be demanding, and you're going to want to make sure your console is up to snuff there. Now, apparently, this console is looking to release in mid-2027, or specifically fall of 2027 or early 2028. Now, this is where I forgot to mention the second half of this, which it's a pretty big part of it, but apparently there's a PS6 handheld also in the works. So we're going to pack that one away and talk about it towards the end of the video. But right now, fall of 2027 or early 2028. Like you said, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It is coming at that point in time. Now, this is where I'm going to ask you. There is talk about Xbox getting out there early, getting out there in 2027. We don't know when, but would an undercut there be...
You just went out.
Oh. Well, I was going to say, would there be a detriment to Sony here if Xbox gets out there and says, like, here's our shiny new console. It's the best place to play. This is where you can play GTA 6 the best. If they get it out...
I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, if they get their console out, then that just means that they have a year ahead of PlayStation to get customers to say, hey, look at this console. People already spent, like, let's say, I don't know. So ROG Ally, we know about that one. And so let's say people buy that. They really like it. Then obviously they're going to go Xbox. And like if they want, like if they're people who care about the new generation as well, they're just going to go to Xbox if it comes out early too. I've seen it all the time at GameStop where it's like the first console that releases, people just flock to that one. And then the next one, they're like, okay, that one's going to be the one I put on the back burner and wait for a long time or something. And like I know a lot of people who wanted both consoles every year, and they would just buy whichever one came out first. That's what it was. And, you know, that's fine. To each their own with that.
Yeah.
But seriously, though, I think that it's going to be a major, like, win for Xbox, especially if they have games that are only for that console prior to PlayStation getting it out, you know? So it's like, oh, if I can run... I'm just going to keep saying GTA 6 is that's like the only one guaranteed to be on the next generation. But like, if it's like, oh yeah, this is where you can play GTA 6 the best, people are gonna want it because it's like, oh, if I can play GTA 6 at 60 frames per second there, but only 30 frames per second on a PS5 or a PS5 Pro, I'm gonna go to where it's like where I can play it at 60 frames per second, obviously.
Oh, for sure.
And also from a price standpoint, like let's say that the consoles are at $700, $800 at the point. Okay. People are going to spend $700 on a new Xbox. Are they really going to spend $700 or $800 on a new PlayStation 2? Because at that point you're spending like $1,400 to $1,600 right there between both consoles. Nobody's going to want to spend like almost $2,000 across the two different consoles.
And I hate to be that guy, and I know it's going to get flack, but if you're spending $1,400 on two gaming consoles, just build a PC. Like, because, like, we've
the smart choice.
We've talked about, and I'd hate to be that PC master race guy, but we've talked about it before, and I've been crucified in the comments. PlayStation is putting their games on other places. PlayStation games will be coming to Xbox. PC is the best of both worlds where you're going to get those games, everything there. Just save yourself the time, the headache, and the effort, and all that. But...
yeah.
I do want to just kind of shout out two things I've seen in the PS6 console stuff. Then we're going to talk about the handheld. Backwards compatibility. You're going to get PS5 to PS4 generations. No mention of the PS3. I also assume the PS2. And then heavy emphasis on cost constraints and keeping power lower than the PS5. This is where I think this is where it's going to make or break the PS6. How far back are you diving into your back catalog? Which PlayStation should heavily be invested in that because they have damn good games on the PS2, the PS3, PS4, and of course the 5. That should be almost with every company. Like, that should be like a no-brainer. You should be able to figure it out. Like, that should be your thing. Because they're your games.
There should be backwards compatibility everywhere. And, like, I hate how every company is doing it. I really do. In my opinion, you should just be able to buy the game. That's it. You should just be able to straight up just buy the games that are old. Like, hey, every single one of our, like, original PlayStation or PS2 games, like, all of them are available on a back catalog. You just have to buy them. $5-10. There you go.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I'd be willing to spend $5-10 on any of the old PlayStation games from, like, my childhood years. I mean, Nintendo annoys the hell out of me with how they do it with the whole, oh, you have to pay a yearly subscription fee and then you get it on, then you only get select ones that we put online thing.
Yeah.
I think that's annoying. I also don't like how PlayStation does it either, where like you have to pay like really large sums of money for some of the games, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying like Elder Scrolls Oblivion for like $100 off of your back catalog. Not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, and for the sake of just maintaining my journalistic integrity, the PS6 codename is Orion, and PS6 handheld is Canis. I'm just kind of gonna say that right now to kind of
Maybe
help.
Canis.
Canis, right in the Canis, right there. It's right up in there. Can't believe I just said that. We're already going there. But speaking of the Canis, let's talk about the handheld here because apparently this console is going to include a micro SD slot, an M.2 SSD slot, haptic vibration, dual mics, a touchscreen, and specifically a diagram states that a USB-C port has a video out capabilities. Of course, same kind of release date for the PS6 and the handheld. And Canis should beat the Xbox ROG Ally X in performance, but doesn't come off as a powerhouse, quote unquote. I think we've talked about a PS6 handheld until we were blue in the face, where it's like, why aren't they doing this? It should be out.
You went out.
They do have the PlayStation Portal, where it's like you're almost there but you're not. This would be it. This would be the console that kind of like shakes up everything, where it's like, we've been dying for this is what the fans want, and if it beats the ROG Ally X for the Xbox side of things, that's a powerful handheld by itself. And if it can do that, hey, PlayStation, dare I say it, you might be cooking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I look forward to them doing a handheld. I would like to see like just a handheld console war. Personally, like we've talked about that before. I would love to see that. I would love to see the ROG Ally go along with like, maybe I don't know who PlayStation will partner with, maybe Corsair or something to make like their own handheld, and then there you go. I
Hey.
think that would be great.
Yeah, and if you mentioned this whole like, I don't want them to release a more powerful version, and then this
You went out.
version, you talked about how PlayStation, you don't want them to do this whole like, we're not going to do a powerful one and then we're going to do a lower end one. Like I've said with Xbox, releasing your core main gaming console and a handheld is the perfect thing. Like, that is what you should do. You get a cheaper console, you get a more high-end console that's kind of staying in your house. That is what people want, and that is what people will invest in. And then this opens the door, like you said earlier in the video. I'm going to get the Xbox ROG Ally, but then I'm going to get the PS6. I have both. I'm in both ecosystems. I'm in both.
Yeah.
If that's what you choose. There you go. This is looking good for PlayStation. As much as I bag on them, I just hate that they make stupid choices. And this one, it looks like they're going back up.
See, PlayStation's good after all.
Maybe I'm coming back to the light, much like John Cena might be coming back to the light at SummerSlam tonight, per the time of this recording, by the way. But maybe I'm coming back. Maybe PlayStation is all the way back. Who knows?
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Honestly, I mean, this console generation wasn't the greatest, so we'll just see what the next one has to hold.
We allegedly have to wait 3 more years, so hopefully I'm still around and kicking by then, and hopefully the world isn't ending. I experienced an earthquake this morning at 3 a.m. What did you do this morning? It's okay. And normally we don't get earthquakes here, so just want to say that that is my morning. But that about does it here for this episode of Community Kitchen. We hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, if you want more gaming content just like this, keep it locked to Game Sandwich for all your gaming news, rumors, and reviews. But as of right now, I've been Kalo, that's been Aiden, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.